Hey everybody, it's Norm from Tested, and today I'm going to be reviewing and discussing in depth my experience with a new pair of smart glasses. These are the Ray-Ban Meta smart glasses announced last year at the Connect conference alongside the Quest 3, released a short while later, and that I've been using as my everyday glasses for the past month. These second generation smart glasses from Meta and their partnership with Ray-Ban primarily are sold as sunglasses. There are two frame styles this time around, in addition to the Wayfarer style that I'm wearing right now. But for me, this Wayfarer design is close enough to the Warby Parker glasses I've been wearing forever that with the prescription lens option that I chose for this, as opposed to having a tinted option, I'm able to actually wear them every day. And surprisingly, no one has noticed. I've actually worn this in tested videos for the past month. No one's made a single comment about them. Coworkers, friends, family, no one has actually noticed that my glasses are different, let alone different because they have a camera system built into them. And that speaks to this generation of glasses' abilities to miniaturize that camera technology, make the hardware compact enough that they can actually pass off as normal sunglasses, or in this case, normal prescription glasses, for better or worse. There are, of course, pros and cons that come to that. But it's a design decision that they've made and they're pushing toward as they want to miniaturize all this technology to get, whether it's augmented reality glasses or smart glasses or technology in glasses, to be passable in public, to overcome the hurdles that first generation, very early smart glasses like Google Glass or the Ray-Ban or the Snapchat spectacles had. So we'll be discussing the tech that's in here, from the camera systems, the audio systems, to the AI assistant, new features such as the multimodal input that I'm a part of the beta in, so that I can tap into Meta's AI assistant with imagery, not just voice, and some of the surprises that I've come across while using this, as well as some disappointments. I'm actually going to take these off right now to swap into my previous glasses so we can discuss the smart glasses more in depth. So again, let's start off with the camera system, because when you're talking about looking at smart glasses, most people think the thing that makes them unique is having a camera, the ability to be able to take a picture, shoot a video, in this case even live stream to Instagram without having to wear a GoPro or take your smartphone out of your pocket and get that first person perspective. It was that selling pitch, when the Google glasses first came out, although it was a decade ago now. And here the camera system is down to one camera from the two that were in the first Ray-Ban stories. It's on the left here, so this very small wide angle 13 millimeter equivalent ultra wide angle camera. It's even wider than that ultra wide angle 14 millimeter equivalent lens that's in the iPhones these days. On the other side, though, because this is still a symmetrical design, is a notification light. So if I take a picture and there's a button here on the top right, I'll press the shutter button, and you see the light actually then turns white on the right side to let someone know that you're taking a picture of them. And as the wearer, I also hear a little bit of a shutter sound. If I'm capturing video, the light turns on as well. So if I depress the button, then it's shooting video, and you can see there's now a light here. The light isn't a ring, it's just a dot in the center. And if I'm moving around in an indoor environment, it's very readable, very noticeable that the light is on. In an outdoor environment, not so much. I've been in public shooting video, taking pictures, and not one time had someone come up to me and notice again that I'm wearing smart glasses, or notice that that notification, that indication light is actually on. Now there are some guardrails so that you can't actually cover that up, so you can't be like in a movie theater and take a picture of the movie screen, because if you try to cover up this indicator light, there's actually a light sensor around it, and from what I understand, it tries to match the exposure of what that light sensor can detect with the exposure that the camera itself has detected, and if those don't match up, then it won't take a picture. It prevents you from capturing photos or video if you obscure that indicator light, and I wouldn't want to obscure it in any case. It is interesting that it's not an RGB light, it's just a white light. I don't think they they made a conscious decision not to let people change that color or make it red, your classic blinking red as an indicator, universal indicator for recording video. So take that as it is. In terms of capturing photos and video, the quality though was something I still found a little lacking. It is an improved camera system over that first generation. We're talking about a 12 megapixel image, so roughly 3,000 by 4,000 pixels in portrait orientation. So we're not going to get into a whole debate about portrait versus landscape. These are glasses where the intent is to capture imagery for social media, for Instagram, for Facebook, for X, Twitter, whatever. And so portrait is what they're doing. But the actual image quality that I found was a little bit lacking. The sensor has to be small by design. It's ultra wide in terms of its angle, but even with a f2.2 aperture, which is the same aperture size as what's in the ultra wide angle lens on the ultra wide camera of the iPhone, I found that it still didn't receive enough light, or at least the system didn't calibrate itself to prevent blurry images. The standard use case for this, I have 2 kids, they're running around the house. We also have a dog as well, and trying to capture photos of kids, dogs, moving subjects in indoor environments where just normal lighting like this, I would find that the camera system, one would refuse to increase the shutter speed to a fast enough shutter to have sharper images, and resorted to a lower ISO. So I would prefer that there was some type of shutter priority system where I could say, always keep that shutter at bare minimum 1/200th of a second, even if it's indoors, and bump up that ISO. I don't need to have 300 ISO indoors if it's going to give me an unusable blurry image. Bump up the ISO to 1,000, double that ISO, but let me double the shutter speed as well. Outdoors though, the imagery is much better. So in outdoor environments, you have the shutter going up to 1/3000th of a second, and anything above that 1/400th, 1/500th, things, even moving objects, are going to look pretty clear. Now it is fixed aperture and it also is fixed focus, and so there's no autofocus here. You're not half depressing the shutter to do anything. What you get in front of you, the sensor is pretty limited. And so a lot of the near field things I want to take pictures of, literally holding a dog up to my face as our puppy is licking us, that image actually ends up being blurry, not because of necessarily the shutter speed or how much light is in the room, but because of the plane of focus. The minimum focus distance of this lens is kind of a hand's foot away, not up to your face. A little bit disappointing there. There are some optimal situations where the imagery seems okay, taking pictures of landmarks, of vistas, kids walking around in outdoor environments. The best practice use case for this is to think about environments where you would actually need sunglasses. That's the places where the camera actually operates best. Bright daylight, outdoor environments, indoor. The camera for photos, not so great. Now video, it's a little bit of a different story, and the video I was able to capture indoors, both indoors and outdoors, I found much more enjoyable to consume. I never want to really share any of the photos I took with this on social media. They didn't feel like they're good enough quality photos. Video though, wonderful in image quality, and even in indoor environments, outdoor environments, fast moving subjects, there is a limit on the recording time. You can only record up to 1 minute of video, so you can depress that shutter button here, it'll start recording, you hear an audible indicator, and the light will turn on. And I found it really enjoyable to capture a video of chasing the kids around a playground, pushing them on a swing. And it's kind of surreal to go back and look at that video and notice that both my hands are in those shots. It's not the typical perspective that you would get if you're holding a phone up and capturing similar to that video. And one of these days, the kids are so used to having cameras in their faces. My kids actually hate it when I hold a phone up and try to, get a portrait photo of them or capture some video. They're pretty resistant to that. And so they haven't caught on to the fact that when I'm wearing these glasses, I'm capturing video. They're acting pretty normally as I'm enjoying them. And that video is pretty fun to play back and share with my family. I have noticed though that I've noticed some drop frames pretty regularly in that video, so it's taxing on the processor that they have here, which is a reason that they've capped that recording time to about a minute. And while there is some digital image stabilization here, it does affect the final resolution of the video, and so because they do that automatically, it's inconsistent pixel dimensions of that portrait video as well. So from an imagery standpoint, not so happy with the photos, happier with the videos. But the thing I've been happiest most with and most surprised with the smart glasses is the audio. There's a bunch of microphones in the front here to capture your voice, as you may want to use the Meta AI assistant to ask questions, have it take a photo, check on the battery status. And there are 2 speakers in the arms here. They're packed right in the back that kind of point toward your ear. They don't use like bone connectivity to speakers. They are kind of just floating speakers right in front of your ears. And while they're not noise isolating or noise canceling in a standard environment, even at medium sound volume, I found that listening to music, listening to podcasts, and doing phone calls was one of the most enjoyable parts of the glasses experience. Typically, I would have AirPods or over-the-ear headphones, walking around listening to music, but I really don't like having earbuds in my ears, and I don't have the AirPods with transparencies. I don't want to necessarily be isolated from the world. Having these glasses, being able to take a phone call or listen to a podcast while walking the dog and not be isolated from the world, and it's not only is it extremely convenient, but it's so much more comfortable. I'm completely sold on the design of having speakers and a microphone in the glasses form factor. The camera system, I can take it or leave it. Audio, having good audio, a good microphone system, and everyone who I've done phone calls with or Zoom calls with using this has noticed decent audio quality. That's been my favorite feature by far. Now, in noisier environments, if you're taking the bus, if you're on an airplane, these are not going to be loud enough for you to hear because they're not isolating, so they'll kind of blend in with the room noise. You can kind of cup your ears around the stems here to isolate the audio a little bit, or put on earmuffs or something. But at that point, you're just wearing over-the-ear headphones anyway. But that convenience, that not having to put on an extra pair of headphones, having a pair of glasses that I'm going to be wearing anyway, having the ability then to record or to play back audio, make phone calls, has been, I think, game-changing for my everyday use. Now, I wish there were additional abilities as well. Like I wish I had the ability to record voice memos, create reminders, for example, and that leads to this Meta AI's ability and kind of its limited ability. Now, it uses Meta's Llama 2 large language model, so their version of something like a ChatGPT, and it's okay. It can understand most queries that I'm asking for, and it kind of reads it back as ChatGPT would, but it does get a lot of factual information wrong, or kind of oftentimes speaks in very broad terms. It's not very specific with the type of information that I may be asking about. So the hallucinations that the large language model has, and the not real-time information that it has, is a limiting factor. There is also now multimodal input, and with the beta, also some real-time information with a partnership that they've made with Bing. So I've been testing that for the past couple weeks as well, and that's improved the experience. So I can ask about sports scores, that's about events and times and locations and things like that, and it's done a pretty good job, as if you would be asking Siri or Alexa if you had your phone out. The latency in terms of how long it takes to get those responses to you is a little slower, I find, than using a dedicated AI assistant on your phone. because here it is sending that voice information through the app and then generating it back. It's not localized. There's no, other than Bluetooth, there's no dedicated radio system here. There's no cellular connection at all. Everything is tethered to the phone app. And that goes with the multimodal input as well. So one of the new features that they tease and they've started rolling out in beta is the ability to say look and you can ask the AI to give information about the image in front of you. So it will take a picture. It'll actually save that picture as if you took it normally, and then give you information based on what you're asking for. Look and tell me about the object in front of me.
The object in front of you appears to be a gold-colored skull sculpture. It has detailed features such as eye sockets, a nose cavity, and an open mouth with teeth.
Okay. Look and tell me something interesting about the object in front of me.
The object in front of you appears to be a life-sized model or replica of a Tyrannosaurus Rex skeleton. It's quite impressive and must have taken a lot of work and attention to detail to create.
It's an opinion. And here, while it's pretty novel and it works to some extent, the information that it can give you about the image in front of you is also limited. Right now, it can't give information about locations, can't give information about people, things that it recognizes as people, nor products. And products is something I really wish it could give me information on. I understand some of the use cases where you might be, traveling, or you might see something in a different language and you want it to, interpret for you, things that you might use Google Lens for. And at that point, I found it actually easier just to take the phone out of my pocket and open Google Lens and have that information right away without the latency of the glasses to get that in an audio form. Having the information in a visual form on my phone still feels like the way to go right now. So still much to improve even with that multimodal input. Now, when that AI assistant is turned on, something that I'm also found myself pretty concerned about was battery life. And it's such a weird thing to say, to have battery anxiety on my glasses. And to their credit, they've designed these glasses to be as compact and as close to a standard glasses form factor as they could. If you have a standard pair of Ray-Ban Wayfarers, the sunglasses that they sell for $170, and put them side by side, which I did at the store, it looks very similar in the front. The front almost exactly the same profile. On the side, it's going to be taller and thicker on the arms for all the electronics and batteries, but that also means that they're limited by the process of the architecture of the chip that they're using for here. And battery life is something that feels like first gen Apple Watch, where it's not even a full day of battery life. I got, with regular use, making phone calls, listening to some music, taking a few pictures, not overdoing it, but 4 hours of battery life on this, meaning that you have to charge it 2 to 3 times a day if you're wearing this as your everyday normal glasses. If you're wearing them sunglasses, sure, you're gonna not wear it for more than 4 hours of time, most likely, and that might work for you. And here's where you're also limited by their hardware design of making the charging system the actual glasses case. So this glasses case has this 2 contact points as well as a battery. There's USB-C port on the bottom and an LED indicator on the front, pairing button on the back, and the glasses fold up and they go right into the case, and that's how you charge them. Charging doesn't take a long time. It's like 20 minutes to get to 80-90%. If you're down to 20-30% battery life, and so it wasn't inconvenient for me to keep a spare pair of glasses in the case itself, swap them for about 15-20 minutes at a time, 2 to 3 times a day. But there is no charging port or data port on the glasses themselves. There's no USB at all. It is all either through these 2 contact points here on the bridge that go to the glasses and over this Bluetooth connection and Wi-Fi connection actually as well, paired to your phone and your local Wi-Fi. And here's where Android and iOS users may also have a different experience. They've actually talked about this a little bit, where because of the way iOS manages permissions and how much external third-party hardware, how much access they have over your photo roll and over some of the APIs, it's a pretty clunky process on iOS to offload images and photos and video onto your phone. You're having to load up the MetaView application. You're going to the photos area, and then you actually have to click yes to pair over a Wi-Fi connection to the phone or to the glasses, and then you're slowly offloading it. None of this happens in the background. The experience is better on Android, speaking to how open that is. And in the future, it could be more limiting in terms of what Meta and Ray-Ban may want out of the functionality of these glasses. Things like tapping into your calendar, generating reminders, and other types of notifications. All those abilities may be limited by Apple and iOS's ability to let these glasses tap into those features. A little bit disappointing there. One thing, going back to battery life, that did make a huge difference, and a huge recommendation that I would make for anyone looking in these glasses, is to turn off the passive Meta AI listening. So you can, in the settings, you can actually say don't listen for that keyword, the Hey Meta key phrase. And so if it's not listening all the time for that, to activate that Meta AI, then battery life is essentially doubled. I got well over like 6 to 8 hours of battery life on normal use with that turned off. And then to access the features, there's actually a touchpad on the side. You can just do a 3-finger tap on the side to access the Meta AI if you want to. And that's also how you change volume as well. You can swipe forward and backward on the arms here. And then finally, one additional word of caution for people looking to maybe buying these and using them as your day-to-day glasses is that they're not very water resistant. There's a IPX4 certification on here, which means that it can survive splashes of water, from raindrops falling onto it, but any direct stream of water, heavy rain, definitely submersion will break the glasses. And I've seen some instances where people got water into these glasses and were unable to get them to charge or unable to offload photos. So anytime there's been heavy rain, and there's been a few days of heavy rain in the city here lately, I've kept these in the case and swapped back to wearing my normal glasses. So it can't, for 100% of the time, be my normal everyday glasses. And at some point, the battery in here will die after so many recharge cycles. You won't be able to recharge this, and they will still work as normal glasses, but they won't be the smart glasses. There also is a dedicated hardware switch on the left arm here, and you can actually turn off all of the electronics functionality if you want to preserve that if you're running low. It does give you an audio warning if you're getting to 15% battery life to let you know to recharge them or turn the glasses off. But as a piece of technology, I think the achievement here is twofold. One, miniaturization. Again, the ability to get these to pass off as regular glasses to a point where people don't notice that they are smart glasses. That is a milestone in smart glasses technology. And hopefully it could only get better, and we don't go backwards as they try to pack more features and functionality into this product category. The other revelation for me is while imagery, photos, and videos may be the on-paper selling point for these, it's really the audio that was the killer use case for me. I love, like I said, love listening to music, podcasts, making phone calls with these, not having things plugged into my ear. And I think they did a great job with that this time around, to a point where I could see, knockoff glasses, and I'm sure there are plenty out there, maybe over in Shenzhen, where there are glasses that just act as Bluetooth audio devices. And I never considered those before, but after using these, I absolutely would consider that product category with cameras or without cameras. So these are the Ray-Ban Meta smart glasses. I'm going to continue using them. I'm going to continue wearing them as my normal glasses. They are not devices. This is not a pair of glasses or a piece of technology that's just going to sit in a drawer and not being used, because they have utility for me every day as prescription glasses, and listening to music, just a joy on these. If you have questions, if you have thoughts about smart glasses as a category, skepticism, love to hear it in the comments below. I think it's a healthy discussion worth having today as wearables and glasses become a bigger and bigger part of our technology and culture, for better or worse. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm Norm from Test It Again. I'll see you next time. Bye.